How's it going, everybody? Joe with Total Justice Gaming here with a new deck profile for you. If you guys are interested in this stuff, please remember to hit the bell, subscribe, like, comment, all the fun YouTube stuff. So, before we hop into the deck video, we are going to be looking at Bayou Bully. I want to take a quick moment to thank Arbitrary here for letting me show this deck off. Rather, the first iteration of this deck, after getting my butt handed to me by Arbitrary Hero. Me and him talked. I talked to a couple of other friends. I read the comments on his video of the fight between him and his Sound Blaster deck and revised the deck a little bit more, so it's a little bit more refined. I got a bit new tricks. But again, I want to take a moment to thank very much Arbitrary Hero for letting me fight him and taking the time out of his day to set up the little match. It was a blast, and I hope to do it again soon. And, just some self-advertising. If you guys want to fight me, hit me up, and we can arrange something. I'll be happy to throw down with you guys. Now, in the deck profile, we are going to be looking at what I call Bayou Bully. Gator for the Bayou, Bull for Horri-Bull for the Bully, and Blowpipe because I needed something else in here. First and foremost, we did talk about Brawn replacing Blowpipe. I, in the long run, decided against it because that messes a lot with my flip orders in this deck. So that actually, I did test it out with some soloing against some other stuff. Brawn actually kind of hindered the flow of the deck because of me needing to flip certain characters. I mean, just Skullsmasher and Horri-Bull. But Skullsmasher and Horri-Bull really have to flip at certain times, and Brawn was kind of hindering that scenario. So the lineup is still Horri-Bull and Kreb, Skullsmasher and Briscoe, and Blowpipe. Running it down, Blowpipe is a Battlemaster who is ranged, a 2/7/1 with Focus 1. His gun mode is when the upgraded character attacks and you flip cards, you get +1 attack until the end turn for each different color among the battle icons you flipped. Also, when this would be leave the battlefield, it goes in the KO pile. So, the whole point of the deck is this is a mixed color deck. We're running pretty close number in a lot of colors. The idea of this is to put Blowpipe on one of the two larger bots after getting Blowpipe KO'd, and making you be able to get around 4 to 5 attack every single time you attack by using mixed colors. We can run down the other cards. Horri-Bull is a beast and melee. He's a 3/9/2 that says, when you flip to this mode, move 1 damage counter from him onto an enemy. So he kind of shoots a missile or a lightning bolt from his horns that was damage to him onto an enemy. He is running his actual head Kreb, who gives him +2 health, so he's sitting at an 11 health for 7 stars, which is not too bad. In body mode, he's a 4/9/1. It says when you play a Black Pip card, do 1 damage to an enemy and 1 damage to Horri-Bull. Kreb gives +2 health, and in body mode, he is a 2/2/0, who is still melee. Skullsmasher, Big Daddy Croc. Love this dude. He is so much fun. He is a 6/14/1. He is an 11-star character with Briscoe on him, makes him a 13-star. In body mode, he is a 5/14/2. That says when an enemy that has fewer stars than this becomes tapped, do damage to it. When an enemy that has more stars than this becomes tapped, do 1 damage to this. So the idea is to make them burn themselves by attacking and making sure Skullsmasher swings in last. The flip order in the game, which is ideal for this deck, is to turn 1 or turn 2, regardless if you're going first or second, is to flip Skullsmasher, then swing with Blowpipe. Then you flip Horri-Bull and start playing Black pip cards. You can play a multitude of cards we have that will either burn them for damage or that will. Oh wow, that actually looks really nice on camera. If I can get them lined up, I cannot. Actually, Briscoe doesn't look too bad on Skullsmasher. Anyways, sorry, got distracted. So the idea is after we flip him, we let them swing. Hopefully they burn them. Not too many things getting over 14 stars at the moment. I do want to iterate. Titan Masters get very big very quickly, so there is a chance that they will actually have something to ping to make Skull Smasher trigger the hit hurting of himself. The idea is also use some, not all, but some of the new cards out of Titan Master's attack to trigger Horri-Bull to keep moving stuff off of him. My idea was mostly to use the Black Pit cards that hurt myself to benefit to my advantage in order to get Blowpipe out of the game quicker and into gun mode. So Scouting Mission is in the deck. Camion Crush is in the deck now. I'm still not entirely sure I want Precision Fire in the deck. Mostly because it just pings everybody. But I want to use cards that can hurt Blowpipe to get him into go mode quicker, and then swing with Skull Smasher or Horri-Bull, whoever gets Blowpipe, to do really, really big hits. And for Lucky Playmaster Metallicato on top of that, so that it could be possibly 10 attack or 8 attack on top of their already decent attack stats. So that is the premise of the bots and the flip order. Usually it goes flip, swing with Blowpipe, flip, play some stuff, swing with Horri-Bull, swing with Skullsmasher. Skullsmasher really doesn't leave his body mode too much. You really want that burn damage to keep going as long as possible. The only time I would think we need to change him is if we have someone that is higher stars. In that case, we really don't have a reason to put Skullsmasher in body mode because he's a decent 6 attack stat character that is 17 health. So his 1 point of defense, while not great, is somewhat negligible. Because if we equip some armor on him, we can boost him up to around 20 health to 21 health. Meaning he is one really, really healthy gator. And getting Pierce while attacking an Autobot, even if he's attacking just another Decepticon, 6 attack is really outstanding in this scenario. In that case, it would just be turn 1, swing with Blowpipe, flip Horri-Bull, swing with Blowpipe, and then keep swinging, swing with Skullsmasher, while continuing to play black cards. I know I'm making this hand motion like I'm playing a card. Don't know why I'm doing that. But those are our ideal scenarios. I'm not too keen on actually flipping Horri-Bull back to beast mode. I mean, yeah, you can move a damage off of him onto it, but we're going to be trying to pile as much damage as we can, as quickly as we can, and just exhaust Horri-Bull to the point where he'll get in maybe 1 or 2 good swings, but we've burned the opponent down to almost nothing, to where Horri-Bull's last 2 swings could possibly be killer swings, or they're next to nothing, and then we just leave them for Skullsmasher's Gator Death Roll. Or Blowpipe can even take him out. I mean, I got some kills with Blowpipe. But those are the bot run. That's the bot rundown. So then let's move into the battle deck. For weapons, we're running 3 copies of Energon Mace. See if I can't zoom in real quick. And focus, focus, focus. There we go. So Energon Mace is a blue pip plus 2 attack. It says while it's attacking an Autobot, it becomes a plus 3. And while the upgraded character is attacking an Autobot leader, it also gets Pierce 3. So a decent attack on its own. It's honestly no better than Scoundrel's Blaster because it's a +2, and it only gets Pierce. It only gets Pierce if it's attacking an Autobot leader. Under that circumstance, Scoundrel's Blaster is better and is an additional pip. However, if we are attacking into Autobots, we do get a +3, which I kind of see the trade-off on that, because if we're attaching it to Skullsmasher, he already gets Pierce 3 against an Autobot. Again, for Horri-Bull, we're making him a 6, possibly a 7. Autobot leaders are probably going to be running around a wee bit more. So either way, we're kind of getting it. It's really a trade-off. I have tested between this and Scoundrel's Blaster, and I found the trade-off to be pretty equal. Like, I'm getting that one additional color pip, but I'm pretty spread out as it is already. The damage trade-off is pretty equal. The Pierce, I get better with Scoundrel's Blaster, but I get more bonuses just for swinging at an Autobot. So, like I said, that's player choice. I do think they're about even. There is, of course, the one thing is that Scoundrel's Blaster is recurable, so that may lend it in its favor. But in testing, like I said, it's pretty even noted. Moving in, because we are actually a very action-heavy deck, we are going to be running 3 copies of Anticipation Engine. We all know what this does. When the upgraded character attacks, reveal the top card. If it's an action, you can play it. We have 24 actions and only 16 upgrades in this deck. So being able to swing, put this on Horri-Bull, swing, hit a Camion Crash, and then ping Blowpipe and do 2 damage for free, then trigger Horri-Bull. It just makes for a lot of fun and makes the deck flow even better by being able to trigger abilities while we're in the middle of combat. So we're running 3 of this. For utilities, we are running 2 copies of Enhanced Power Cell. The only reason we're running only 2 copies of this is we don't want this on Blowpipe. We want this on Horri-Bull and Skullsmasher, giving them +3 health. Larger health pools are very much needed in order to sustain the body modes as long as possible. So +3. And it's a black pip. Running 2 copies of Bashing Shield. It's a recurable armor that lets us scrap an opposing enemy armor. It also gives +1 defense. Meaning Horri-Bull will be 2 in body mode and a 3 in beast mode, and Skullsmasher will be a 2 in beast mode and a 3 in body mode. Pretty decent. It's there for the reoccurring. It's there for the scrap effect. I guess it could be there for the defensive bonus, but honestly, it's mostly there to do what Bashing Shield has always done. Running 3 copies of the Decepticon version of Improvised Shield. I love the artwork on this so much. It's our double orange tough one. I mean, Running 3 copies of Increased Durability. Increased Durability gives us +4 more health. We want tough, plentiful, healthy bodies in this deck. Never mind that it's a black pip, so we can trigger Horri-Bull. This lets me get, just equipping this to Skullsmasher raw with his health already at 17 gives me a 21 health body. That's monstrously huge, and if I can get Enhanced Power Cell, well, we're just reaching Galaxy Prime numbers, or close to it. So we are running 3 of these. Again, we are running 3 of these because we already have, we're only running 2 Enhanced Power Cell because we're running 3 of these. It only has 2 targets. We do not put this on Blowpipe under any circumstance. We just want to run 3 of it, unlike Enhanced Power Cell, because it's a +4, and we need the consistency of picking it up. Stable Cover. What is quite possibly one of the most important cards in the current meta right now. Talking to a couple buddy RJ. and talking to Arbitrary Hero Cameron, talking to my own playgroup. This card has become so pivotal in the meta right now because it's so Pierce heavy. I think this has to be a staple 3-of in most decks. Never mind that it's a black pip to trigger Horri-Bull. It gives you +1 defense and stops Pierce. I can't stress how important that last part is. This has got to go in almost any deck I build now. I'm trying to make room in most of the new decks I've built. I've taken them out of old decks just to be able to put them in new decks I've built. It's a pivotal card right now. The meta is just so overflowing with Pierce. As it should be. We're shooting lasers. We're giant robots shooting lasers at each other, or human-sized robots also shooting lasers at each other. So Pierce is everywhere, and this card stops it cold. So definitely a 3-of. 3 copies of Hold the Line. This is our one of our whites. We can reveal when one of your characters defends. We get to repair a single damage. You'd be surprised how much of a difference that makes while playing a game. Just the single repair can throw off an opponent's number game and really hinder their plans, making you live just a little bit more to be able to kill them on this backswing. Also, the defender can't take more damage in this battle than the number of stars the attacker has. So if they hit a colossal number with a colossal amount of Pierce, but it both exceeds their star value, play this, you're safe. You're still going to take the full damage value of their star value, but it's not going to be like this 11 Pierce 11. Don't say you can't get that high. We are in a meta where it absolutely can. So, we are running 3 of these. This makes up the 6 whites in our deck. Concealing Contrails we're running 2 of. I bumped this down to increase another card, and that was stable cover. Increase durability. Yeah, I bumped this down to increase stable cover to a 2 of. I still get it pretty consistently. This gives us +1 defense for each black pip we flip, so this kind of acts as a pseudo tough for black. We have a lot of black in the deck. So this gives us so much Pierce and defense against just raw damage. We still have to deal with the Pierce. But the damage values on Beast Mode and Body Mode in this deck are very low, to where I have to be able to bump up the defense some way. Tough just doesn't cut anymore because there's so much Pierce. But against just straight raw damage, not Pierce damage, straight raw damage, this is invaluable, especially in a more black-focused deck. Running 2 copies of In Hostilities because this makes the opponent's orange flips into blue flips, hindering their damage just tremendously. This also can kind of hurt us, but I mean, we're hitting for such high damage value anyways, and then we got all the Pierce in the deck. This is still just a 2 of because it just kind of depends on when you want to play it. Next up, we have 3 copies of Cammy Crash. I saw firsthand against Cameron, Arbitrary Hero, just how good this was. I felt like an idiot afterwards that I did not put this in this deck. If you're running Horri-Bull, you have to run Cammy Crash. On the added bonus of Cammy Crash, we can start using this to pick apart Blowpipe a little bit faster after he's been attacked, and do the damage to Blowpipe to deal 2 damage to the opponent, thus triggering Horri-Bull, getting Blowpipe into gun mode quicker. It's just an all-around positive value card in this deck because it does 2 things. By hitting the opponent for 3 damage, pinging Blowpipe to put him into gun mode, and then, 2 damage off that, then I'm counting Horri-Bull's ability. But, like I said, for playing 1 card, we get multiple value out of it by doing what we want the deck to do quicker. Copies of Master Metallicato are 3 of. We are trying to trigger high damage flips with multiple colors, so of course we need a 3-color deck, and I put that lower. There we go. We can play this in conjunction with Blowpipe when he's in gun mode and make our flips do +2 for each color flipped. We're not looking to add value. I probably need to go to Joe or Brian from Wreck-It Rule about the ruling on this. If when I flip it, if the color pips work or not like that, like I think it does, considering they are tribal pips, I guess we call them now, tribe pips. But still, we get +1 damage for until the end of battle for each different color among the battle icons you flipped. So we do this with Blowpipe. Blowpipe in gun mode immediately becomes +10 damage. So that means Horri-Bull could swing for 14. Skullsmasher could swing for 16. Just insane damage values. What we're going for. Wedge formation. Running 3 copies of wedge formation because of the reason I just explained with Blowpipe and Master Metallicado. This gives us a +3 if we flip it. It is for damage repair for melee characters with both Skullsmasher and Horri-Bull R. We do get a draw so long as the Blowpipe's on the field in bot mode, so there is that. We don't need the plan 1 in this deck. It's really not that great, at least in this deck. Running 2 copies of Scouting Mission. This is very much like Cammy and Crash, where we damage any character and its owner draws 2. So we damage Blowpipe to get him into gun mode quicker, and I get a +2 draw out of it. I see that as pretty good. 2 copies of Spymaster's Ruse. Spymaster's Ruse lets me keep stuff down, and meaning they also cannot be scrapped by counter-espionage. That card is amazing and probably needs to go on this deck at some point, and I'm going to have to find room. But Spymaster's Ruse lets us keep our secret actions down and lets us not get counter-espionage. That's really important right now. So we're running 2 copies of that, and we are running a single copy of Last Stand. This was actually brought to my attention by one of the commenters in Arbitrary Heroes videos comments, because I was lamenting I couldn't get Blowpipe to go into gun mode. If you saw in that video, Blowpipe was one of the last bots standing. The exact opposite of what I wanted to do, and I just couldn't put out enough damage onto him. And Cameron, Arbitrary Hero, wasn't really swinging into him when he had more satisfactory targets. But Last Stand lets me give Blowpipe a +5 attack and then immediately put him into gun mode. We're only running 1 of this because I only really need 1 copy to do the job. I'm not exactly going to be playing this to Horri-Bull. I get the Horri-Bull's effect to go off because it's a black pip. But other than that, we only need 1 copy because it only has 1 job. Deck breakdown, we are running 14 orange, 10 blue, 6 white, 28 black, and something green. 9 green? 8 green, something along those lines. Let me pull it up real quick. $10 green, off by 1. All right, guys, that is the rundown on Bayou Bully. It is quite a fun deck. You can see it in action over at Arbitrary Hero. I'm constantly working on new stuff all the time now because I got the cards to do it with. And I just want to sit and build fun decks. It's just a nice way to relax. So guys, I hope you enjoy this. I know this thing ran a little long, but I got a little wordy. But I felt like I needed to because I really got a chance to put this deck through its paces, and I want to talk about that. Look in the comment section below. I will put a link to the deck to Arbitrary Heroes video there. That way you guys can see this in action. You can see some of the mistakes I made and see some of the improvements that went into this. Some of the improvements this deck got as a result of this video. So guys, again, please like, subscribe, leave comments, and I will see you guys soon. All hail Megatron.